Here's the chairs. She could cook many. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Just have people sit there because you don't need to see it. The camera's still gonna see it.
There you go.
I should.
Good evening and welcome to the regular twice monthly meeting of Westminster's Mayor and Common Council. Please note that our meetings, although open to the public here at City Hall, are also available and streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center channel and website. Now we'll begin, as we do every meeting, with the pledge of the flag, followed by a moment of silence. As we have the moment of silence today, I'd like to note that we had a fire here in downtown Westminster this morning, and sadly, someone lost their life as part of that. So please keep that in mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation, thank you. With courtesy to everybody, please take a moment to silence your cell phones or any other electronic devices you have with you that might ring or beep during the meeting. Thank you. Copies of tonight's agenda and the entire information packet that the council will be using are available online on the city's website. We usually have some hard copies here for any guests who would like to have them. But I think most of you probably won't stay long enough to meet one. First, before we move on with our 4 presentations we have tonight, pleased to note that we have with us, as we frequently do, a representative from McDaniel College. President Julia Jasper, when she took office as president of the college, promised that she would send someone frequently for our council meetings to let us know what's happening up on the Hill and to take back information about what's happening down here in the city. So we're pleased to have Ms. Jill Centopani here, the director of admissions at the college. Welcome to the meeting. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, actually. Hi, everyone. So I know that very recently the college hosted, Julia, President Jaskin hosted a lunch, or sorry, this was a breakfast. And so I wanted to let you know that she and all the other college leaders said how much they enjoyed having you all on campus. Hope to be able to do that more frequently. And so very excited about that. You might notice that it's a little quieter at our end of West Main Street. Our students have officially gone, finals are over, and so it is a bit quieter. And the college will be closed between Christmas and New Year's. So in the event we should have some inclement weather, anyone who might come up and enjoy the campus should note that it is our grounds crew is off as well. So paths might not necessarily be cleared. We actually will be welcoming our first year students back a little bit earlier than the regular students because they have a course that they take in January. So for the first 3 weeks, they'll be back, but it's only about 450 of our students. And so the remainder of our students will be arriving at the end of January, that final weekend to start their spring semester. And I would be remiss if I didn't put a plug in as a dean of admissions to say that some of you may have or know students who are high school age coming of college age. I have a senior, so for the first time in my life, I am sitting in the parents' seat. So obviously, a lot of times the hardest sell is for a student who's in the backyard, if you will. So we would love to invite students to the campus and certainly remind them that, you know, they have a lot of opportunities to be on campus for athletic events, prom pictures, homecoming and things like that, but we would certainly love to have them there. And we actually do have a Carroll County grant for our students, so they are awarded that. We'd love to see them. And then the final announcement is just that many of you may know that St. John's hosts a Christmas Eve service on campus in Big Baker Memorial Chapel. So that is happening again this year at 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve. So should you feel like you want to join, we would love to see you there.
Right, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Now we have 4 presentations tonight. And I think the mayor has the opportunity to share some good tidings.
So let me scoot over to the presentation side of the room here. Okay, great, thank you. All right, so first of all, welcome everyone to our council meeting. So it's the season of giving, so I'd like to kick off the meeting tonight with some various charitable contributions. The first contribution I'd like to award comes from the proceeds from a great Main Street event, the Westminster's Oyster Stroll, held annually on the second Saturday in October. The Oyster Stroll is designed to raise awareness about the importance of oyster aquaculture in the Chesapeake Bay. Participants are encouraged to stroll through downtown Westminster as they delight in fresh farm-raised oysters from the bay. If oysters aren't for you, there's still plenty of other things to enjoy, such as interactive children's activities, educational displays, giant yard games, delicious food, and a variety of artisan and craft vendors, samples of wine, spirits, and beer, and live music located throughout the stroll. Probably one of my favorite events downtown. This great event wouldn't be possible without the city's outstanding partnership with the Coastal Conservation Association. So I'd like to ask Mike Wiesel, Central Region Chapter Vice President of the Coastal Conservation Association, to please come to the front of the room. Hey, how are you?
Happy to.
Nice.
How are you?
Good, nice to meet
Thank
you.
you so much.
Right, so on behalf of the city of Westminster, I'd like to present this check for $2,000. Wait just a minute.
Won't be over here.
In recognition of the Chesapeake Conservation Association volunteer support of the oyster stroll. Sorry. Take that.
That's yours. Thank you.
Just one moment. Eric's good.
Oh.
We do like our helmet. Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
I would, and I thank you very much, and I thank the city for their help and the Rec and Park Department, Abby and her team. We came together to do this quite a few years ago, and it's been a pretty big success, I think. 7-some-odd thousand people come out, so I think that's a pretty reasonable success, but it also helps with the education and the awareness and what we can do even here in Carroll County for marine conservation. And part of what our group does is to help teach elementary school children the importance of oysters and what their ecological impact is on the bay. And if your children have ever gone through the curriculum, there's maybe a good chance that they've helped build reef balls, which are artificial reefs that actually they do in their 4th grade through a 3 or 4 day period, and then will eventually go into the bay to build new life in the bay. So they're getting hands-on experience, and they're seeing, some of their work go literally to improving the bay's health. So we appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for your without the volunteers, right? We wouldn't be able to have that event.
Total
So,
volunteer organization. Yeah.
yep, so we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, so up next. It's my pleasure to present 4 very deserving community organizations with donation checks for their effort in coordinating and running multiple facets of Fall Fest 2022. For those who may not know, Fall Fest has been around since 1978. It's an annual 4-day event held in Westminster City Park and the adjacent Longwell parking lot. For many, Fall Fest has become a tradition that symbolizes the end of summer. The festival helps attendees usher in and celebrate the cooler, more colorful fall days. With visitation reaching approximately 30,000 people, Fall Fest would not be possible without our charity partners' dedication and volunteer support. 4 nonprofit partners are selected through an application and interview process in January. Once selected, the charity partners are tasked with various event-related details and due dates. Partners must attend monthly meetings to discuss progress, challenges, and triumphs, all while they recruit and schedule 8 volunteers an hour for every hour Fall Fest operates. This evening, the charity partners receiving donation checks are Catholic Charities Head Start, Crossroads Church, Together We Own It, and the Westminster Municipal Band. At this point in time, I'd like to invite the following individuals to the front of the room. Vernice Williams, ERSEA Coordinator for Catholic Charities Head Start. Beth Pruitt, Westminster Campus Advisor, Crossroad Church. Katie Spear, Executive Director, Together We Own It. And Kay Smith, Financial Guru, Westminster Municipal Band. Since the amount you received tonight is a surprise, we're gonna hand you your checks backwards, right? So don't look, right? Just hold them to you like this. Once everyone has their checks, on the count of 3, you can flip them over to reveal the amounts.
It's surprising. Yes.
You ready? Right, 1, 2, 3. Do some, or you want to, Mr. Brown was smart. We learn quick. Yeah, don't just stay there. I'll block Mr. Barber. So you may notice that the municipal band received a higher donation. This is because the final day of Fall Fest got rained out except for the rides, which is the area of Fall Fest that the band is in charge of running. While everyone else got to retreat from the rain, the band marched on, dodging raindrops and selling tickets until 6 p.m. on the final day of Fall Fest. With all that said, all of you did a tremendous job making this event a cherished community tradition. A big thank you to all of you for your dedication and hard work, and your partnership is priceless. Would anyone like to say something on behalf of your organization? We can start down at the end there.
So I'm Beth from Crossroads Church, and it was just such a pleasure. Like, our goal is just to be involved in the community, and this was just such a great way to do it. And we just, at our last meeting, I just shared so many different stories of people that we met and just great connections, and we just hope to do it again if you'll have us. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hi, my name is Vera Heath, and I'm from Associated Catholic Charities Head Start and Early Head Start. And I just want to say thanks for having us in your city. And if you know any children that need free education, 6 weeks to 5 years old, start in the Head Start.
Katie with Together We Own It. This is our 3rd year doing this, and we're just really grateful to be a part of it. As a grassroots nonprofit, this goes a long way, and so we're super grateful for this, to be able to provide new opportunities for kids in our programs, and just grateful to the city for having us again. Thank you.
And I'm okay with the Westminster Band, and we want to just thank you on behalf of the band for giving us this opportunity.
And I know I already went, but
You only get one comment.
our goal in this year is to put this money back into the city. So we have a lot of different things that we're gonna do with it. So just like.
So on behalf of the council, right, we'd just like to say thank you for making Fall Fest 2022 the huge success that it was, and it would not be possible without any of your support. So we do appreciate that.
Just say, congratulations to all of you. You do not need to pay.
No, you do not need this.
Although you're welcome.
Thanks, happy holiday.
Yeah.
Last but not least, right? It is my pleasure to announce, I need oh, sorry. Are you ready? Okay, sorry, just a minute. The awkward silence again. She's organizing.
Are we gonna start giving out checks at every meeting now? No, it's cool. I like it.
We do it all at once.
A lot of people come.
All right. Okay, so lastly, it is my pleasure to announce the winners of the 2022 Miracle on Main Street Electric Holiday Parade. A panel of 3 judges consisting of local business owners assessed each parade entry on theme, detail, and brightness in the following categories: Best and brightest, Spear of the Season, and Main Street Champion. All winners receive a trophy and a $100 gift card. First, I would like to recognize Andy Wetzel, maintenance mechanic, and Dave Strevig, Director of Maintenance and Facilities from Shelter Systems Limited, for a winning entry that earned the award for Bright and Best. Or Best and Brightest. Right. Yeah. But that's the one thing. Right. Right.
I'm scared, Eric. Thanks.
Right, there you go. All right. Congratulations. Yeah. And thanks for being here.
It was fun, we had a blast. Can't wait till next year.
Okay. The next award goes to Les Dietz, owner of A Quality Heating and Air Conditioning, for his entry that best reflected the spirit of the season. And this was the one with the air conditioner, right? Yeah.
Very creative.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
You're good.
And last but certainly not least, I would like to recognize the Carroll County Veterinary Clinic as the Main Street champion. Accepting tonight, we have Lynn Wimmer, owner, and Abby Wimmer, veterinary technician. In full disclosure, this is where my cats go. I just got an appointment reminder today, too, surprisingly. So congratulations. Thank you so much for being in the parade. Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody have a good holiday.
Yeah. A big thank you to all of our 2022 parade entries for creativity, time, and attention to detail to make this a proud Westminster tradition. The Miracle on Main Street Electric Holiday Parade could not exist without your support and participation. And speaking on support on behalf of the city, I'd like to extend our sincerest gratitude to Mark Degers-Peary, owner of Interstate Battery, for his steadfast support of this phenomenal community event. Interstate Battery provides power sources for all electric parade entries. The Interstate Battery staff are members available on site at the parade lineup and disbandment to help safely illuminate and break down the floats. We have more.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, that's, oh, good. Oh, good, perfect, okay. I'm done.
Oh,
Wait,
the Bears.
no, the Mayor's Cup, I know, I don't have any, my passport though.
I'll pull it up.
Here.
You need to get, you need to add it.
I could have lived it. The Main Street. That's great.
No, it's not, oh, it was.
No.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Just ignore my reading from the computer here. All right, so now we get to the Main Street Awards. Before we start, Main Street this year, I think, looks fantastic, and in no small part to your businesses that help decorate Main Street. I think I've heard nothing but really phenomenal things about everything on Main Street this year, as far as the lights that the city has put up, the decorations in the window fronts. Individuals have said, you know, we've come out for dinner in Westminster and then we walked up and down Main Street to look at the window displays. So thank you very much. So the Mayor's Cup is a longstanding contest that recognizes the decorative storefronts and windows of downtown Westminster businesses on display during the holiday season. Displays are recognized for several holiday-based themes, and the Mayor's Cup is awarded to the business with the best overall display. The Mayor's Cup is engraved with the names of the winning business each year and proudly displayed at the winning business's location. This year, 10 businesses offered eye-grabbing entries, and as always, it was difficult to select a winner. First, I would like to recognize business winners of the holiday-based Theme Award. Best Brightest Display, Flowers by Evelyn at 91.5 East Main Street. Best Window Display, Iron Valley Real Estate of Central Maryland. Best Kid Photo Friendly, Westminster New and Used Furniture at 31 West Main Street. Best Festive, Sterling Quality Water at 7 East Main. The Mayor's Cup Award for the best overall display is awarded to Heart Made Collective at 10 East Main Street. So what I like best, the display, I don't know if you, it sits back a little bit, but when you drive by, the Christmas tree on the second floor is fantastic. I'm gonna let you hold it, because if I hold it, it might block you.
Oh.
So, all right. Right. So the council would like to thank everybody, sorry. Forgot you, don't remember that. The council would like to thank everyone for their decorating efforts, and the windows and storefronts certainly captured the spirit of the holidays and beautified downtown Westminster. So thank you very much for taking part in that, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Right, Ms. Ingalls. Thank you, ma'am.
Good.
Yes, you please don't feel as though you need to stay. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Look at the Stanley Cup, you get it for a year.
I know. You can go home and have.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And down the crowd. Was there something more you want to do?
No, I'm good.
All right, if we could, might be something the mayor said.
Excellent.
All right. Move on now, to, for mundane business of the evening. Approval of the minutes. We have minutes from the meeting of the mayor and common council on November 28th, as well as a special meeting of the mayor and common council on December 5th. And have a motion to approve the minutes. Then a motion by Ms. Gilbert, and a second by Mr. Clutch. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have, the ayes have it. And the motion is, adopted. We have several mayoral appointments tonight. We'll begin with, the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have, appointed by the mayor to appoint Scott Graff to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a 3-year term ending on December 12th, 2025. Have a motion to accept the mayor's nomination.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Mr. Dayoff and a second by Ms. Gilbert. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have, the ayes have it, and Mr. Graff is appointed. We have an appointment by the mayor of Mr. Robert Peoples Jr. to the City of Westminster's Board of Elections as a member for the term ending on February 14th, 2023. We will then, because the current term ends, then we'll, we'll take these up again early in the year and extend those. They have a motion to appoint, to accept the mayor's nomination of Mr. Peoples.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Mr. Cavacci, a second by Mr. Dayoff. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have, the ayes have it, and Mr. Peoples is appointed. We have a motion, likewise, same way for the Board of Elections, for a term ending on February 14th. Mr. J. Brooks Leahy, for the Board of Elections. They have a motion.
So moved.
And a motion by Mr. Hoff and a second by Ms. Gilbert. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it, and Mr. Leahy is confirmed. And finally, we have a appointment by the mayor of Ms. Erin Giuffre to the City of Westminster's Board of Ethics Commission as a member for a 5-year term ending on December 12th, 2027. May I have a motion? The motion by Ms. Gilbert to accept the mayor's appointment.
I'll second it.
And a second by Mr. Dayoff. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it, and the appointment is confirmed.
Mr. President, just a question. So the Board of Zoning Appeals was a 3-year term, right?
I believe that's correct. It's a 3-year term.
Ethics is 5 years?
That's right.
Okay, this is a different, okay, gotcha.
They're all different.
Okay, no problem.
Ride is quite a life.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on now to report, next item is a report from the mayor, Dr. Becker.
Great, thank you, Council President Pereira. I just want to echo your comments earlier today about the fire that occurred on Main Street. Where unfortunately, a resident of the city lost their life this morning. A tragedy in any circumstance, but I can't imagine during the holiday season as well and things like that. So I also want to take this opportunity to thank all the first responders who showed up. Westminster Fire Department. I know fire departments from Southern Pennsylvania and around Carroll County came into town this morning. And as well, the Westminster Police Department who was on scene directing traffic and helping with things there as well. So just thank you to all the first responders that we rely on all the times of the year in the area. So I also want to say thank you to the council for approving my appointments to the boards and commissions. I would also like to just state, excuse me, that we're still looking for other members to serve on various boards and commissions. So there's an application link that is on the website that you can access to do that. We have openings on several of our boards this time. On December 5th, that was last Monday, I had the opportunity to meet with a bunch of Cub Scouts at Deer Park United Methodist Church. We had a great conversation about what it was like to be the mayor and the mayor of Westminster. We talked about all sorts of different things. They wanted to know what I found hard about the role and what I most enjoyed about the role. And then we quickly got into questions about my favorite farm animals and whether or not I had the power to close school, which do you ever get questions like that, Mr. Dominic?
No.
All the time. Can you close school for us? No. But that was always enjoyable. I spent about 45 minutes with the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts that evening. On Saturday, I wandered downtown for the holiday concert in the library lawn, had a great afternoon listening to the Westminster Elementary Band play a few holiday tunes. The Westminster High School Jazz Band played as well. Afterwards, we had the music on Main Street. There were people taking carriage rides around the area. I know the lights were on in City Park this weekend. And once again, I know I've said it before. I think we also said it at the last meeting. Nothing but wonderful things about the city this holiday season, which is due in large part to all of the city staff that have worked incredibly hard to have the city looking the way it does. And I think I'll end with that, Mr. President. Thank you.
And you can leave some suspense about your favorite fun, your favorite animal.
It would be a horse,
Okay.
probably, yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry, one more thing, just real quick. I didn't mention it last time. I was invited to serve on Westmore's transition team as he will be inaugurated as our next governor in January. And I'm serving on the water subcommittee for the Climate and Energy Policy Executive Policy Committee, which I think will be helpful with our water recycling. So we have that going underway as well. Pretty enjoyable.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wonderful thing for you and for the state. Great. Thank you, Dr. Becker. We'll move on now to reports from standing committees. We'll begin as we always do with our liaison to the Carroll County Arts Council. And just want to say, well, some people may wonder why we have a liaison to the Carroll County Arts Council. The reason is because we host the Carroll County Art Council in city-owned, the old Carroll Theater, city-owned building, and have done so now since I moved into that property. Mr. Dale.
And you and I served on the council when we did that, was after 3 years, very successful. We talked to Governor Glenn Denning down at the Avalon Theater in Easton. He led the conversation, and it's a success model that has been tried to many municipalities throughout the state have tried to duplicate, but a lot of people are not aware of it. And the Arts Council constantly sings the praises of the streets department and the public works department as to how much you help them, and that's That's a real valuable partnership. Lots of really good programming at the Arts Council. Check the website for much more information. The Festival of Wreaths was a great success. And we really appreciate all the folks that the Arts Council brings into town. I call it the art of economic development. Thank you, Mr. President. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Hoff. And Mr. Hoff, please report on the economic and community development.
Mr. President, I do not have anything to report this time.
All right, thank you very much. We had a meeting of the Finance Committee last week, in which we, amongst other things, discussed a budget amendment, which will be coming your way shortly. It's getting a few final tweaks from the staff to resolve a couple of issues, and we expect to see a updated version of that in January. Personnel Committee, Ms. Gilbert.
I don't have too much other than just to make the public aware that we have numerous positions still open with Westminster City. We have a great, amazing team of folks that you could join, great benefits, terrific leadership. So check out our website, descriptions and applications. That's all I have.
Very good. And Mr. Flaherty, Public Safety Committee.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. On November 29th, Donovan Smallwood was charged by the Westminster Police Department with Family Fitness Center burglary and related malicious destruction of property incidents. He pled guilty to both and received 70 days of incarceration and 2 years of supervised probation with the addition of making financial restitutions for the damage. On December 1st, Edward Crocker, who was charged by Westminster Police Department detectives with embezzlement of approximately $640,000, a lot of money, from his elderly aunt. He was found guilty and received 1 year of incarceration and 5 years of supervised probation, and also is demanded he has to pay restitution of the money. Yeah, that chance that's probably going to happen. On December 1st, also members of the Westminster Police Department participated in the annual Catherine's Cause and Drunk Driving event at the Ascension Episcopal Church. Catherine's Cause is an annual remembrance ceremony in honor of the lives lost on Carroll County roads each year. On December 4th, Michael Holland, who was charged by Westminster Police Department detectives for the New Windsor State Bank robberies on both September 23rd of 2021 and I'm sorry, the New Windsor State robbery on September 23rd of 2021 and a Farmer Mechanics Bank robbery on October 7th of 2021. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 10 years incarceration and 5 years of supervised probation in addition to making financial restitution. Before I go on to the last couple of things that are feel-good stuff, I think this, all of that above just goes one more time to show that our detectives and police officers, and of course, all under the tutelage of the chief, have done an amazing job. I mean, that bank robber got 10 years. I believe that's the one where he'd been doing it, and other locations had trouble catching him, and our guys did. And that $640,000. That dirt bag stole from his elderly aunt. That's one of those crimes where I think in a lot of places, a lot of departments just would not probably put the time and effort into bringing that to justice. And I'm proud of our department, as I know we all are, for making something like that happen. It's terrible. Okay, so 2 more items. On December 5th, Chief Ledwell attended the first Carroll County Police Accountability Board meeting where he provided an overview of the Westminster Police Department, their operations and policies. On December 10th, the Westminster Police Department participated in their 20th annual Shop with the Cop event at the Westminster Walmart with 10 local children and their families. The event provides a bonding experience between local children and our police officers. It also provides families in need with the ability to have a wonderful holiday celebration for their children. And for that, I know all of us sitting here at this day are so greatly appreciative of that, Chief. So thank you. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Kovacs. And can you give us a report on the Public Works Committee as well.
I can, it'll be much briefer. The Streets Department has finished up with the leaf collection as of Friday, December 9th. Believe me, I put that machine to use a number of times over the past few weeks. And all the equipment is prepared for the upcoming snow season. Let's hope it just sits there and doesn't do a whole lot. The Utilities Department, remedy, it costs a lot of money.
I know, but.
The Utilities
The city
Department
administrator
remedy.
says I can have it as long as it's not on the weekend.
Or at night.
Mr. President, can you please get control of this meeting?
My best.
The Utilities Department remedied a sinkhole of approximately 10 feet deep that developed at the Wakefield Valley Park. The sinkhole was located at the edges of Cops Branch near the bridge at Old New Windsor Road. So thank you for doing that. That's quite a big sinkhole. That is all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kavachki. Recreation and Parks, Mr. Day.
We had a short but very good meeting just recently, and we will be looking forward to bringing a number of the discussions to the council in the near future. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Day. And just note for the Technology Committee, you have a meeting scheduled on January 24th. Thank you. Council comments and discussion. This is the opportunity for members of the council to share anything they would like to that is not elsewhere on the agenda or was not in their committee report. We'll deal with Mr. Kavachki.
Yeah, Mr. President, I am terribly remiss. I had asked Councilmember Dayhoff to take part of the public safety report, and I neglected to do that. So if I could, I'd like to yield some time over to him to talk about this morning's incident. I know the mayor already mentioned it, but I think it's appropriate for us, since it happened in the city, to talk a little bit more in detail in terms of what happened. And instead of me giving that report, I asked Councilman Dayhoff if he would do it, given his position on the fire department. So it's okay, Mr. President, can I yield a little time to him?
We'll be going to him in just a minute.
Okay, we'll just do it then. There you go. That's it. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Kavachki. What a lot of folks don't understand about an incident that we had this morning was the inter-cooperation that we have with so many different agencies. And we also mentioned that the police department directed traffic. Well, the police department play a key and critical role in the investigation of the fire also. And many of the Maryland State Fire Marshals are personal friends of mine, and I know how highly they keep the Westminster Police Department and their investigative services very high regard throughout the state. So we really appreciate that. This is the second fire fatality to have occurred in Carroll County in recent weeks. On November 27th, a gentleman lost his life in a fire just north of Westminster on Little Sound Pike. And it sort of emphasizes the importance of fire safety. This is a really, really busy time of the year, and things happen. And we need to be extra vigilant because not only are we sad about the loss of our shopkeeper in town, but he leaves a family behind, and he leaves friends behind, and he leaves a community in mourning. And it's very, very sad. Not only that, we got a firefighter that was taken to the hospital this morning. And I visited him, with him just a little bit before the council meeting. And he's doing well, but he is being admitted. We had over 100 firefighters on this scene. Just because the fire was called in at 5:18 and the fire was declared under control at 6:34. But it was the Westminster Fire Department and Carroll County Fire Departments are held in very high regard throughout the state of Maryland. I mean, there are neighbors and there are friends, and some of them are goofy like me, maybe perhaps, but they are extremely capable and competent. And the fire was a pretty much a textbook case and putting out a fire in the middle of a block in the middle of a number of buildings. The one big thing that helped us with this fire was that 1895 building has been retrofitted with a sprinkler system. And the sprinkler system, we evacuated 30 people out the back of that building, out of the second and the third floors, which was not easily accomplished. And the sprinkler systems, no doubt, saved lives. The sprinkler system put the fire out pretty quickly. I also want to be sure to mention, in addition to recognizing all of the various agencies that come together and work very closely together on these events, Chick-fil-A just kept donating food. Every time I went over to Chick-fil-A, they wouldn't let us pay for the food, and we must have hauled 120 sandwiches out of Chick-fil-A, and they wouldn't take any money whatsoever. The fire remains under investigation. It just is a really good opportunity to once again reminds people of fire safety. We mentioned Catherine's cause earlier today. I often like to put up on Facebook that don't drink and drive, your dog won't understand why you didn't come home. But I do death notifications, and they're very, very difficult. And when you drink and drive, or when a fire takes place, it's very difficult. It leaves behind a lot of very upset folks. So I just can't emphasize enough the role of fire safety. And I really appreciate, Mr. President, and Mr. Kovaci, this opportunity to try and take one more opportunity to get this message across. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nahar. Ms. Gilbert.
I have a couple things. The MML quarterly meeting was this past Thursday evening. I just wanted to make everyone on council aware, and the community that January 11th will be the opening day for legislative reception in Annapolis from 6 to 8. And if nobody wants to drive all the way down to Annapolis, then they get to have a chance to meet with and talk with our county delegation meeting, which will be January 13th, 2023 in the Reagan Room at the county office building at 3 o'clock. As far as December, I wanted to remind everybody that Wreaths Across America will be this Saturday on the 17th. Each December, National Wreaths Across America Day, the mission is to remember, honor, and teach, and that is carried out by coordinating wreath laying ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery, as well as more than 3,400 additional locations in the United States at sea and abroad. And we in Westminster and Carroll County have several locations here. If anybody wants to take part in the ceremony, you can call Babel involved, or you can check out the Wreaths Across America website for a ceremony that's happening here in your local area. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. Mr. Pop.
Mr. President, as you know, sir, I tend to walk in the mornings, if you've seen me out and about, and I often walk along Main Street. And when you're walking with your headsets on, especially in the morning when it's not too busy, I kind of look at all the various buildings through our Main Street area. And when I first heard about the fire, obviously I, devastated to hear that Mr. White had passed. But that is a beautiful building, has one of the most attractive facades, I would argue, in downtown Main Street. So I will say I was relieved when I was walking this morning and saw that the fire was under control. And while I certainly, Mr. Dayhoff, know there's some significant damage inside, the fact that the building is still standing and obviously looks to be, definitely repairable, is a really good thing for Main Street in the long run, because it would be quite a loss for Main Street to lose a building of that significance in town. So I'm pleased about that, even though it's devastating that someone had passed. And then the only other thing I wanted to say is this is my first full calendar year on city council, and I just appreciate serving with all of you, and I want to wish everybody, staff included, a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. So thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Mr. Hoff. I don't think I have anything to add to all that. We move on to, we have two bids tonight. The first is the award for the contract for inflow and infiltration phase 5. That's appropriate that former Mayor Dominic is here tonight. This is one of his favorite projects. And for that, we'll turn to the Deputy Director of Public Works, Mr. Dick.
Thank you, Mr. President. The current capital project sewer fund includes funding for the continuation of the inflow and infiltration work in the sewer collection system. The project was advertised on October 19th, 2022 on EMMA with pre-bid meeting and due dates of November 3rd, 2022 and November 18th, 2022 respectively. The city received one bid from Geyer Brothers Inc., the successful phase 4 contractor, in the amount of $1,026,721.50. City staff has reviewed and evaluated the references and bid from Geyer Brothers Inc. and finds it to be acceptable with regards to the city's needs, and is also satisfied with the phase 4 work product obtained in the previous contract. The FY23 budget for this project is $1 million. The budget amendment will be needed in the amount of $26,721.50. Staff recommends that the Mayor and Common Council accept the bid and award the contract for the INI Phase 5 project to Geyer Brothers Inc. of New Enterprise, PA, in the amount of $1,026,721.50 for the inflow and infiltration reduction work.
Right, thank you, Mr. Dick. May I have a motion to approve the contract?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
There's been a motion by Mr. Dayhoff and a second by Ms. Gilbert. Any questions from Mr. Dick or comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Kavati?
it's probably, maybe not Mr. Dick, it might be Ms. Imhoff, or Finance Director. Where's the 26,000 coming out of?
My question to you.
I am looking. It is coming out of sewer fund restricted fund balance, which is from the benefit assessment calculation in the sewer fund.
Perfect.
So no new city money, no city reserves.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Ms. Imhoff.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dayhoff?
it is appropriate that we recognize Mayor Dominic for his leadership and helping bring that forward. I know you mentioned it, but I think it's important that the public be aware that we have solid transitions on these initiatives from one administration to another, and I really appreciate this initiative. I think it's going to save us one heck of a lot of money down the road. It really is. A lot of water. And a lot of water. A lot of water. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff. Anyone else wish to be heard? All right, hearing no one else, move on to a vote. All those in favor of approving the contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it, and the contract is approved. Next item is approval of change order number 1 to the city's contract with Mid-Atlantic Utilities Incorporated for the valve bolt replacement project. Go back to Mr. Dick again.
Thank you, Mr. President. Certain water distribution system valves installed in the late 1990s through 2007 have been found to have substandard bonnet bolt failures. Unfortunately, bonnet bolt failure due to corrosion can result in catastrophic valve failure, followed by a tremendous release of water. The city's distribution system contains quite a number of these valves that fit the substandard criteria. In addition, higher pressure areas in the system exert more stress on the bonnet bolts than lower pressure areas, and as a result, they are more likely to fail at an accelerated rate. On September 12, 2022, the Mayor and Common Council accepted the bid of Mid-Atlantic Utilities Inc. of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and authorized the mayor's execution of the associated contract in the not to exceed amount of $73,765 for the valve bolt replacement project. During the replacement of the valve bolts in the field, conditions changed the quantities of valves. The quantity of 8-inch valves reduced by 1 for a credit of $2,785. The quantity of 6-inch valves increased by 2 for an increase of $5,570. This resulted in a $2,785 increase in total cost. The increase of the $2,785 for the project will be funded by the water main maintenance budget. The staff recommends that the common council approve change order number 1 to the city's contract with Mid-Atlantic Utilities and authorize the execution of the change order number 1 by the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dick. We have a motion to approve the change order.
I'll move, Mr. President.
A motion by Mr. Kavachi and a second by Mr. Hawes. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Dick or any comments? I have one, if nobody else does. I'm sorry, I know I missed that meeting. October 12th, I wasn't here, or I would have asked, but I presume that because it was so long ago, even though the bolts were substandard, there's no one to go back after on.
Yeah, that's been a question I've asked myself, as far as I know, no manufacturer has been held responsible.
All right, thank you. All right. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, move on to a vote. All those in favor of approving the change order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Yeah, I seem to have it, and the ayes have it. And the change order is approved. That concludes the bids. We have, next item is unfinished business. There's no unfinished business of which I'm aware. Does anybody have any unfinished business to bring before the council? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. We have 4 items under new business. The first is approval of the sole source contract with Funk and Bolton, PA. Ms. Imhoff.
Thank you, sir. The city of Westminster seeks to utilize the services of Funk and Bolton, PA, located in Baltimore, Maryland, to engage with and represent the city in matters relating to Maryland. Bless you. This expense can be absorbed in the fiscal year 23 general fund operating budget. Staff recommends that the mayor and common council authorize a sole source contract with Funk and Bolton, PA, in the amount of $40,000.
All right, thank you, Ms. Imhoff. May I have a motion to approve this item?
So moved, Mr. President.
Been a motion by Mr. Hawes and a second by Ms. Gilbert. Thank you. Any questions or any discussions? Hearing none, move on to a vote. All those in favor of approving the item, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it. And the contract is approved. Next item is approval of purchase of 1 replacement police vehicle, a 2022 Dodge Durango Police Pursuit Vehicle under the Maryland statewide contract from Partridge Fleet Services for a total cost of $33,344. Sounds like a pretty good price. Chief Ledbetter.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On November 2nd, 2022, Sergeant Timmy DeLaspio was involved in a not at fault collision with another passenger vehicle, resulting in a total loss of a 2018 Ford Police Interceptor all-wheel drive police cruiser. As a result, the city received an insurance check in the amount of $22,425. Partridge Fleet Services Incorporated of Milford, Delaware, currently has 1 2022 Dodge Durango Police Pursuit Vehicle all-wheel drive in stock that is available under the Maryland State contract for a total cost of $33,344. Kelly Blue Book fair market range to purchase this vehicle is $40,751. A new Ford Police Interceptor all-wheel drive SUV is not available yet for us, but is being priced on the state contracts at around $48,000 right now. This would require a budget amendment in the amount of the difference, which is $10,919. Staff recommends that the common council approve the purchase of 1 2022 Dodge Durango Pursuit Vehicle all-wheel drive from Partridge Fleet Services for a total cost of $33,344.
Thank you, Chief. May I have a motion on the purchase of the vehicle?
So moved, Mr. President.
Been a motion to approve by Mr. Kavachi, seconded by Ms. Gilbert. Any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it. And Chief, get your vehicle. Thanks. All right, next item is approval of the police salary step plan. Ms. Imhoff.
Thank you, sir. To remain competitive with the recruitment and retention in the local police officer employment market, I have prepared the proposed update to the police salary step plan.
This update predominantly seeks to increase the police pay scale steps at the rank of police officer. Police corporal positions would receive the next highest increase. Sergeant, lieutenant, and captain positions would receive a minor increase in salary. This adjustment should reduce our employee attrition expenses. Attrition costs include applicant hiring expenses such as psychological evaluations, written test purchases, background investigations, physical fitness appointments, drug screenings, and staff time. Attrition expenses also include police academy costs such as tuition, training equipment, and uniforms, as well as the police recruit's salary while attending the police academy. Funding for these changes will be absorbed within the fiscal year 23 operating budget for the police department through redistribution of funds. I recommend that the mayor and common council approve the proposed police salaries plan.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Imhoff. May I have a motion on approval of the plan?
So moved, Mr. President.
The motion by Mr. Kavachi, is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second by Mr. Hall. Any discussion or any questions? on this? Well, I think we've all been briefed on it. Hearing none, move on to a vote. All those in favor of approving the police salary step plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, now I have it. And the new plan is approved. Thank you, Mr. Hawes. And Mr. Kavachi, I think you have a motion for us on those meetings.
I do, Mr. President. I'd like to move that the common council adjourn to a closed meeting at the conclusion of the mayor and common council meeting of Monday, November 28, 2022, in accordance with the general provisions of the article of the annotated code of Maryland 3-305B subsection 1, discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this body has jurisdiction, any other personnel matters that affect one or more specific individuals, and section B, subsection 7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. And I believe the date was wrong on that. That would be tonight, correct?
Yeah.
Which is 7 o'clock. Yeah, I apologize. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kavachi. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Hall. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it. And we will go to the closed meeting at the conclusion of the regular meeting. Now it's time for departmental reports. To lead us through that, we'll go to our city administrator, Ms. Imhoff.
Thank you, Mr. President. We will start tonight with the fire report.
Wanted to report on a good note that the Westminster Fire Department Santa detail is taking place this week. Look forward to Santa visiting a neighborhood near you soon. And that'll be my report. Thank you, Ms. Emmons.
When is it coming to Green Street? I'm here.
Well, yeah,
Lousy time.
I think last year was.
Well, maybe I can take a look at that.
Thank you.
Because I often participate. Thank you, Ms. Emmons.
Thank you, sir. I just want to take a moment to wish the mayor and council and the city staff happy holidays. Grateful for another year that we've had together. We have just a short list of reports for you. We will start out with the Recreation and Parks Department, Ms. Gruber.
Good evening. Just a short report this evening. I'd like to remind everyone to please stop by for our last Saturday visit with Santa on the library lawn from noon to 4. On the 17th, we have to get him back to the North Pole. He has some important work to do. So I believe he's out on the fire trucks tonight. He'll be back at the library on Saturday, and then it's off to the North Pole after this Saturday. So noon to 4, library lawn. Come out and visit Santa and enjoy our last Saturday of free horse-drawn carriage rides as well. And other than that, I'd like to wish everyone happy holidays and thank you for another fantastic year at the City of Westminster. That concludes my report.
Are there any questions for the Recreation and Parks Department? Hearing none, we will move on to the Public Works Department. Mr. Dick?
Thank you, Ms. Emmons. Just start by wishing everybody happy holidays. Just to piggyback real quick, it kind of fell in line here with the change order we just did. Last Friday, we responded to a water main break at Jenny and Richmore at the corner. As we got there and dug it up, it ended up being one of these bonnets come apart due to bad bolts. While we were there, had the hole open, we replaced all 3 valves. votes. Went well, so. Just to show you that money that we spend every year for these valve votes, it's definitely needed. That's all I really have to report.
Are there any questions for the Public Works Department? Hearing none, we'll move on to the Finance Department.
Thank you, Ms. Imhoff. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to let you know that the audit is still ongoing. I reported that a few weeks ago. They'll be back out on site this Wednesday and Thursday. And a reminder too, that right after the holidays, we'll be starting in on our budget process. So we'll be switching gears then. So wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and just it's been a lot of fun so far. So glad to be here and glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
We are certainly glad that you are. I'll leave that charge. Are there any questions for the Finance Department? Hearing none, we'll move on to the HR Department. Ms. McCullough.
Good evening. The Human Resources Department, we are continuing to recruit across all departments for various positions. We've also had some recent staff promotions in Public Works Department. And just a reminder, the staff holiday luncheon is Friday, December 16th. That completes my report.
Are there any questions for the Human Resources Department?
Ms. Imhoff,
Yes.
I just have a curiosity question. Have we seen any change over the year as far as the number of applications we're getting in, or is it still kind of similar as far as the vibe, as far as being difficult to find people for positions?
It's very dependent on the position. So some positions we continue to struggle to get applicants at all, let alone applicants that have any experience in that particular job. And then some positions are flooded with applications of people that are very qualified for the job. So we have a long list of good candidates to look at. So it
So
seems
very position dependent. Okay,
it does seem to be position dependent. Yeah.
thank you.
Ms. McCullough, did you want to add anything to that?
Just to add, we also look at different recruitments, because sometimes within those recruitments, there are applications that we can pull for other vacancies because the experience is there. So an eye goes out across all the applications that we receive and to see if we can utilize those applications in other departments.
Oh, good. You all do that, because I know some, I won't mention who, they don't do that, and you have to apply for that position, but I think it's smart that somebody could be applied for one position, but they could be better positioned for another position.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Good to know you guys do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCullough. That's actually how I got my first job in Maryland. Just I applied for one and they were like, oh, you're much better over here for this one. So
Yeah.
it's a good,
Smarter.
it's smart. Thank you, Ms. McCullough. Any other questions for, let's move on to the Planning Department.
Thank you. Good evening and happy holidays, everyone. On December 7th, the Historic District Commission provided a cursory review of the proposed Amy's Laundry addition located 273 East Main Street. This addition is going to the back side of the building on the Winter Street side. Simplified site plan SS 2208 for Amy's Laundry addition is currently under review, and it's anticipated that it will be approved shortly. This Saturday, December 17th, is the last Saturday for the holiday market, which opens at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So stop by the market and go see Santa. And this is the last Saturday, that next to each other, so you can wrap it all together. The Small Business Saturday Passport Program ended on Sunday, December the 11th. The passports must be turned in by tomorrow, Tuesday, December 13th, to any Carroll County Library or administrative building or city hall of any one of the 8 participating municipalities. On Friday, December 16th at 10 a.m., the 20 winners will be selected to receive a $50 gift certificate, which can be used at any one of the participating businesses in any one of the 8 municipalities. You can view this drawing of the winners on the Carroll County Downtown's Facebook page. So if you want to see if your name gets picked, tune in. If not, we will contact the winners so you don't have to watch if you can't make it. So that completes my report.
Are there any questions for the Planning Department?
Yeah, I have one. So do you have any sense of what Amy's doing? Are they adding just additional washer dryer space, or are they adding additional services?
Additional services, I think it's more for the dry cleaning service. To my understanding, they're not adding more machines, so the water usage isn't significant. It's very limited. It's just to expand on the service she's already providing.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions from the planning department? Hearing none, we'll move on to the police department. Chief?
Good evening, Ken. First thing I'd like to bring up is that we did receive a pretty significant donation from a drive called Share the Love for our canine program. So we got up with our canine handlers and are looking at how to best apply the funds that we received on that donation. We ran the first round. We have to do an annual physical ability test now. To do Maryland legislation. So we ran the first round of that. Everybody did fine. And finally, I wanted to also bring up that our detectives, we mentioned earlier some of the success with their investigations. I remain impressed with their ability to adjust as we take on new investigations, because they get knee deep into some pretty complicated investigations, and then we have something like the fire that comes up, or another crime that comes up, and they just adjust on the fly. They come in their off hours, they hit the ground running, and I have complete confidence in their ability to handle it. So it's a good feeling to know that. So that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Are there any questions for the chief?
Listen, also, it's not so much a question, it's a comment, and I agree with you, Chief, but I think a big part of that is the esprit de corps that you've created within the department. These guys are coming in and doing those things and working, and those extra off hours and putting in that extra effort, in great part because of the morale that you've created through the work you've done. I've been here a long time. I've seen it go up and down, and you've done an amazing job creating that environment in which these guys feel like they should be doing that. So kudos to you. I know you won't. You probably don't want the credit, and you're probably going to yell at me for even saying that later, but you deserve it, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions for the chief? We will round things out with the housing department, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. And good evening again. I just wanted to mention a couple of things from housing. One is to let you know that we have 277 vouchers under lease as of the first of this month. We had 16 vouchers that we are administering on behalf of another jurisdiction. And we have 2 participants that are living in other jurisdictions, namely Howard County and Baltimore County. I also want to take this opportunity, since it is the last meeting of the year, to wish the mayor and members of the common council, my colleagues and their respective families, a blessed holiday season filled with love and hope, and a new year filled with good health and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Are there any questions for the housing department? Mr. President, that concludes the departmental reports.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ingles. Next item on the agenda is citizen comments. When we invite the public to address the mayor and council on any issue pertaining to tonight's agenda or any other citizens. For citizens not attending a public meeting, we invite you to send us your comments or concerns via email at comments@westminstermd.gov. All comments received by email will be shared with the mayor and council. Commenters should include their address and phone number with their comments. We'll now invite comments from anyone who is present this evening. Ask everyone to, who wishes to comment to please, again, share their address, their name and address for us for the city clerk for the records. Is there anyone who'd like to be heard tonight?
Former mayor's report.
No formal mayor's report.
Oh, my word.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right. No one wishes to be heard? Then we'll say that concludes our agenda and the meeting. Just note that we are canceling the next meeting, which would have been on December 26th. And our next regular meeting will be held on Monday, January 9th. In the meantime, I'm wishing everybody a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and a wonderful holiday season with your families. And with that, without objection, we are adjourned.
Diana Flores.
We need a
police.
Oh, you know, it's not the matter. Oh, my goodness.